As a beauty therapist, you don't have to provide every single service that you're trained in, especially if you have the opportunity to choose. When I first trained in beauty, I felt like, I personally wanted to learn it all at the start, but then when I realized that I didn't like certain treatments, I still felt the pressure to provide it all and be good at everything. And it's just not, it's not that possible. You can't be 100% with so many treatments under your umbrella. Picking the ones that are your favorite, being the best at those things, and spending your time at perfecting those treatments is much better than trying to be good at everything else. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you my personal favorite treatments, my treatments that I'm trained in that I don't particularly enjoy, and I've only recently just started to get rid of things. I don't know if it's because I'm in my 30s now and I don't really see myself doing this until I'm 40, so I might as well stop now. So I'm gonna start with my favorite beauty treatment, and it has been my favorite ever since I became interested in beauty, and that is gel manicure with some type of nail art. I have been someone interested in art since I was a young girl. I chose to do art for my GCSEs, and then I also did it for my A-levels. So anyone who knows me won't be surprised that nail art is the favorite part of my job. And it's what I advertise the most on my Instagram, on my business one. I don't like doing it for regular polish. In fact, the only two nail art things that I really provide with regular nail polish are cuticle dots and French. Apart from that, maybe like gems, but apart from that, no, because there's no room for me to fix any mistakes. And regular nail polish, I find it dries and it's quite thick and gloopy. So not with regular nail polish, but with gel polish, love doing nail art. I also love doing facials. I don't do them at the moment within my own business. I don't have the space for it or the budget, because if I do provide it in the future, I would like to use a brand that is brilliant, and you have to spend a little bit when it comes to that, and then also have like retail products. So I currently don't have the budget for it, but facials, when I used to work in salons, it was like up there as one of my favorites as well. In fact, nails and facials were like my two top favorites. There was no one that was above the other. It was just so nice to, as rewarding as it is at the end, it was really relaxing to sit there and go through the steps, have the spa music on. Yeah, I loved the routine. I loved the smell of the products and the texture of each product. The removal of blackheads, so satisfying. A lot of my clients like the fact that I wasn't squeezing the crap out of their face. So I am trained in different types of facials. I'm trained in Environ, in KC, microdermabrasion. I liked different things about each facial. So with the Environ, using the machine to push the serums deeper into the skin, that was really good, and I know how much their skin's gonna glow after and how much they're gonna love it. But my favorite part was the mask, once I got the hang of it, because the mask was a little bit stressful. So you put it all over the eyes and the mouth if the customer is comfortable with it. And yeah, trying to get the right consistency, trying to work with the product in the correct speed before the mask starts to dry. Yeah, I loved that bit. And then peeling it off, oh, it was so satisfying. And then with the KC facials, a lot of beauty therapists that I worked with didn't like doing the KC facials because they found that it was boring. I personally loved the routine of it. I memorized that routine. You have to do it in order. Yeah, I don't know why I enjoyed it. I found it quite therapeutic. And a lot of my clients, they used to fall asleep as well during facials. So it was all just like a nice relaxing environment to work in, just stress-free, following this routine. I didn't find it boring at all. So I loved doing a KC facelift. Another facial that I enjoyed doing was the microdermabrasion. I personally favoured the KC crystal-free microdermabrasion over the normal one. But if it is with crystals, the only thing that I was a little bit like, trying to cleanse all of those crystals off was a little bit annoying. Apart from that, yeah, I loved facials in general. I'm also trained in LMS, and I like doing the LMS facials because their products smelt really nice. Especially the papaya enzyme peel, oh, so lovely. So in terms of like relaxation and smells, that one was great. When I used to work in a spa, we pretty much majority of the time it was just massage because that's what people used to book. Pros and cons, like I loved it when my client used to fall asleep and I can do like a light massage. If any client said I like light pressure, I was like yes, because I'm not a very strong person, I'm quite light-handed naturally. If anyone wanted anything deep, I personally didn't really enjoy it because it was a lot of strain on my hands, my back and everything. If we ever did a couples massage and there's two therapists in the same room, and if I was with a therapist who naturally wasn't light-handed and they enjoyed doing a strong massage, and if we had a couple where one of them preferred light and one of them preferred deep, we would swap around and it worked perfectly. But yeah, I was one of the light-handed ones. Even though I've mentioned that massage wasn't like 100% my favorite, it's still like kind of in the middle. It's definitely not a treatment that I dislike because I did enjoy doing them. When I was in the spa, we used to do a chocolate back massage. That treatment was really nice. It does get a little bit messy, and trying to wipe that chocolate off the back, you have to be a little bit thorough so that the client doesn't leave with any chocolate on their back. But yeah, again, it's the smell, it's the experience. Yeah, that was one of my favorites as well when I used to work in the spa. Right, we have now moved on to the portion of the video I'm going to tell you what I personally don't really enjoy doing. Up until like last year, I enjoyed pretty much everything. I didn't mind at all. But last year, again, I turned 30 and I don't know what happened, but just certain things I was like, this isn't really my favourite. What did it start with? With lash lifts, it was a treatment that I was kind of newly trained in, and I really enjoyed doing lash lifts. The stress and anxiety that came with it, whether the client's going to get a good lash lift or not, it wasn't my favourite, unfortunately. So that's the first one. The second one is pedicures. So again, up until last year, I didn't mind doing people's feet. Whenever a client would tell me that they find feet off-putting, or whenever a client would ask me if I found it off-putting, I was like, no, it's just a foot. Obviously, when someone came in with awful feet, like it could be an elderly client who can't reach their toes and they're just so thick and there's loads of crap stuck underneath it and it smells as you're cleaning it out, or a client that there were just clients that, I don't know, they had like some kind of fungal infection or some kind of athlete's foot, and we weren't allowed to diagnose, but working in a salon, turning away a client was not really an option. As soon as I started my own business, I felt obviously I was in full control over who I took on and who I was like allowed to say no to. So that was fine. So that's why I kept doing pedicures within my own business. And only recently I was just like, especially because I do it on my lap, I think that was quite off-putting for me, where when I was looking at my day and I used to see pedicures, I used to think, right, I need to wear a certain outfit because I'm doing it on my lap and I don't want my trousers to be wet for too long and so on. I do have waterproof trousers and I was using them in the winter. As silly as it looked, as if I'm going like camping or something, I didn't care, and I used to put that over my clothes so that the water doesn't get through my trousers and onto my lap. But when it gets warmer, I'm obviously not going to put that on. And this summer, it was so hot here in London, I was wearing shorts and it's just on my skin, and I was so, that's when I started to feel a little bit disgusted when it was touching my skin. And even though I'm wearing gloves, when I'm like filing under the foot, sometimes the dead skin would like fall on me, and when I'm like clipping toes, the toenails would fall on me, and it just wasn't very glamorous. And as I said, it was never off-putting up until last year. So how long was that? That's like almost 10 years, and it was just a no from me. I worked in one salon where we had pedicure chairs with the sink as the pedicure bowl, and everything was so well leveled where I didn't really strain my back either. So if I had that exact setup, I would have carried on doing pedicures for a little bit longer, but because I'm doing it on my lap and I don't enjoy pedicures enough to buy that kind of setup, and I don't even have the room for it where I'm based at the moment, I decided to get rid of it. So yeah, that is my next one that I don't particularly like. There's another treatment again where I've like, ever since last year, where I'm just like, I don't really enjoy doing this, and it's body waxing. I used to enjoy waxing because it was satisfying where there's hair, it's an immediate result. So I used to enjoy it, but I am quite a bit of a messy waxer, and even when I'm trying not to be messy, I would spill wax somewhere. Cleaning wax off the floor is my least favourite thing in the beauty industry. With body waxing as well, it's not something that I particularly advertise a lot, so it is one of my least popular services, so I can see that it's on my list as one of the things that is going to be on its way out, where I'm not going to provide it anymore. The other services are just like, they're not my absolute top favourite to do. They are up there, like I do enjoy doing them. Like for example, eyebrow waxing is very popular. I like doing them, but they're not like, oh my god, this is my favourite treatment to do, you know? Let me know in the comments section down below what your favourite treatments are, and then what treatments you don't particularly like doing. I'm interested to see because everyone's so different. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in my next one.